Nita and Wolf joining us. 101 WRIF and the Chop Shop. I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a little round table action since you're both like ridiculous level guitar players.
Thank you.
Gives you two a chance to ask each other questions too if you want.
Okay.
Love that.
It can be fun. Yeah. How about we start with, you both have new albums out, and the approaches couldn't possibly be any more different. Nita had all kinds of guests. Wolfgang played everything except the one wah-wah pedal. Your uncle, I believe.
Uncle,
right?
yes.
Yeah. So just talk about those approaches. Just totally different approaches to making records.
It's yeah. I don't know. It's what I've done for the last for both the Mammoth records, and it's just something that's I don't know. Since I play everything, it's fun. I started on drums, and I feel like I don't really get enough opportunity to play it except when I'm recording. So it's just fun to be able to go through and kind of check each one off the list, and I have a really good time doing it.
I actually also started out on drums, but I didn't
cool.
continue with the drums. So if I was better at all the instruments, I think I would do it the same way too, because I'm a bit of a control freak and I like to have everything just so. But since I'm not as gifted at all the instruments, I did recruit a lot of people to help me along the way.
Well, you have a great band, and that's a really great place to start too on the drums. I think that's why my dad kind of like, if he ever did slightly push me, it was like, hey, why don't you try drums out?
Oh, yeah.
Kind of gets like a rhythmic sort of sense to the way you listen to music from the beginning.
I think it definitely does. And it sort of gives you an appreciation for the wider spectrum of music and not just what's being played on the 6 strings or 7 strings or 8 strings, whatever the kids are doing.
I was terrible at the wider spectrum of music. I knew what I loved, and I always chased what I loved. But that kind of made me, I guess, sort of genius level in that era of rock, but absolute idiot of anything outside of rock.
Yeah.
There are enormous stars out there that I couldn't name one of their songs.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy how that happens now with there's so many, bands and artists selling out stadiums that it's just so big now. Music is so big.
Yeah, it's really, it's tough to kind of keep track of everything. So I've kind of started to just give up and just focus on what I enjoy.
Yeah.
Meshuggah.
Exactly.
Oh, there could be a theme building here. We'll see. That's the first nugget. I found certain songs on your album, and this could easily just be my ears, and one of the great things about music is everybody interprets it differently. But I found certain songs where it felt like almost drums first on this song, and then another song felt like, man, I really feel like that started with a vocal harmony, and I'm probably wrong about all of them, but it's kind of fun to listen and peel back those layers. And
yeah, when with the way I write, it kind of just all kind of happens at once. Usually, more often than not, it's like a guitar riff or something, but that could also come from a sort of rhythmic, drummer's perspective. I think the first song on the album, Right, was very much like a rhythmic idea first, even if I did come up with it on guitar first,
Yeah, and that's what I had written down for drums first. Right, sounded like drums were first.
Yeah.
Miles Above Me sounded more like it was vocals first.
Yeah.
By the way, I really hope that that's a radio single at some point. Miles Above Me.
Thank you.
Great song.
Isn't it? Actually, a relative of mine is a big country star, but one of the things she says is, the worst thing that can happen to a song is not enough people hear it. And as I was listening to that song, that's just how I felt. Like, more people need to hear this song.
That's very kind. Thank you.
Yeah. Where did that one come from?
That was just a guitar riff. That was an earlier idea too. I just never dove into it until Mammoth 2. But yeah, that one just kind of started out with the guitar riff.
And hell of a solo, I might add.
Yeah, that was a fun solo to do because it wasn't necessarily a shreddy one. It was more of just kind of a comfy, melodic, you kind of just like fall into it sort of thing.
Yeah, and this would be a question for both of you because there's, different ways to record, obviously, but a lot of solos are what they call comp solos, where you'll play 3 or 4 different solos and then take the pieces of each one and kind of build a new solo. Do either one of you do that?
I don't, because I don't think I'm that good of an improviser. I like to really plan what I'm going to do. Like for the song Take a Bow, I was kind of just playing along to that riff, and I hammered it out for like 3 days just to figure out how it would perfectly be. But
I'm the exact same way. Yeah. I also think that the solo needs to tell a story, and I think that sometimes you can get lucky and comp something together, but like I have never gotten lucky in that way. So when I plan out my solos, I think it's the guitar player's turn to tell a piece of the story of the song. So if you're just comping together some notes that are in key that make sense, like you can get a cool sounding thing out of it, but it's not going to tell the story. So, it's your chapter of the story, and I think it's important that you tell it.
Yeah, it needs to kind of be like a song within a song.
Yes.
And kind of ebb and flow and kind of crescendo near the end and kind of... Yeah.
It's its own roller coaster.
Exactly.
but just like vocals can be punched in and you just change one line or two, you can still do that with a guitar solo. And you could play the exact...
Oh, I do a lot of that. I do plenty of that on recording, yes.
Solo 6 times and then just take out this note and that note. And, you could Frankenstein it if you wanted to.
Oh,
yeah. If you wanted to. But it just kind of... But from a perspective of like kind of improvising and then just picking the best, I don't think I'd ever be able to do that.
Yeah. Nita, how involved are you with the vocals on your album? When you're bringing people in, you obviously want them to be themselves. It's why you selected them. But at the same time, you're writing the songs and you're writing either with them or for them. How does that play out?
Yeah, I really wanted to collaborate with each guest as much as I could. And a lot of it came down to people's availability and what they were able to do. Some people had more time and were able to, like, say, David Draymond, for example, I gave him a blank slate of a song and he gave me back a finished vocal. I didn't write any of it. I made some suggestions in the studio, but like that is David Draymond creation all the way through. And then there were other artists that I worked with that I said, hey, here's the idea, here's the melody. Do you want to maybe contribute some lyrics, some verses, and add your own spin on it? So it's just a little bit of everything, but a lot of collaboration all the way through.
And then you get the opposite situation so far. When you're writing everything yourself, recording everything yourself, then you bring a band in. Do you go through and show them exactly how you want it, or do you let them kind of be them?
No, I think it's important to let them be them and kind of, I don't ever want to, be strict or controlling. I think it's important that they can inject themselves into it. It's I kind of liken it to like Nine Inch Nails,
Mm-hmm.
like Trent does his thing in the studio, and then he has an amazing band that kind of reinterprets the material for live. I think that kind of keeps everything exciting.
And I know you have a wide range of influences. That's obvious. But was there ever a focus on the guys who did it all? Like, Prince kind of played all the instruments.
I think my biggest inspiration for just Mammoth in general was probably Dave Grohl and the way he did the first album. I think that was always a dream of mine to attempt this.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta learn how to play drums. I have to practice a lot to do it how Josh does it.
I know women in rock is not a new thing, but really feels like it's exploded in the last 5 years. And not just guitar players, all over the place. I was just on Shiprock and I saw a band called The Warning.
Yes.
Oh, they're awesome.
We love The Warning.
Floored me. Just floored me.
Yeah.
How cool is it to watch this grow? And of course, Nita, you're leading the charge too.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing to be on the wave with so many great female players. As you said, not just a lot of amazing female guitar players, but, in all aspects of the industry, on the stage, behind the scenes, tour managers, lighting directors, wardrobe, production managers. I've had women that I worked with in all these different capacities, and it's exciting to be on the ride with everybody.
So in the Chop Shop, all my guests, I've done over 1,700 interviews because I'm old and I've been doing radio for a long time. I like to just randomly pick out a few guitar player names and get your reactions. You like their stuff, you don't like their stuff, it moved you, you'd never really spent that much time, whatever it is, okay?
Okay.
The first one came to mind because famous father, son followed in his footsteps playing guitar, but did either one of you listen to anything Dweezil Zappa has done over the years, and what do you think of him as a guitarist?
He's a really great guy. I'm not, super familiar with everything that he does. I just know that he's a great player, from videos I've seen and just from hanging out with him.
Yeah.
Same answer, but I've never hung out with him.
I'm wearing the shirt. How about John 5? Have you guys encountered John 5?
John's a really nice guy. We did a show where he was playing with Motley Crue
Yeah.
He's a crazy player. I just like how versatile he is. How he can be very metally, but almost he can get very, very soft and bluesy at the same time. He's a great player.
Huge John 5 fan. My solo band has opened for his solo band. We've played together with Alice Rob Zombie. We've played together with Alice Motley Crue. So I've seen John in all the different John hats, and he's equally incredible every single time. Just jaw on the floor every time, and really exciting to watch. You just never know what he's going to pull out, if he's going to, doing this metal stuff, and all of a sudden this like bluegrass, chicken picking, like all this wild technique. So he's a lot of fun to watch.
Ever heard of Aaron Marshall?
Of course, you guys get Aaron after me, right?
Yeah. He's probably one of my favorite modern guitar players today. I think Intervals is that last album, Circadian, might be one of my favorite guitar albums of all time. So yeah.
I'm very jealous that you guys get to tour together and I don't get to be there.
Picked from the plethora of the G3 guitarists, but you just got to play with Steve and Joe and Eric Johnson, and I don't even know where to begin.
Nor do I. I felt like I won a radio contest. Honestly, I treated it like a radio contest, and I just said, I'm not going to go up there and try to, big dog anybody. I'm just going to go up there and pretend that I won a contest and I got to be up here with my heroes. And it was myself and Jason Richardson that got to go up there as guests. And Jason, of course, another one of the modern metal guitar heroes. And we just were both on the side of the stage like giddy little kids. We've watched so many G3 videos and been in the audience at Generation X and everything else. And now here we are. It was like the Rockstar movie moment. It's like I'm just a regular kid that grew up with pictures of Steve Vai on my walls, and now here we are, trading licks. It was wild.
Oh, it scares the hell out of me. I would never be able to do that.
You'd be amazing. Just pretend it's a radio contest. Pretend you won a contest on the riff.
I don't know. The thing you just did with the Taylor Hawkins thing, that doesn't get much bigger than that.
And it scared the hell out of me.
Excelled. It was so awesome to see. So,
thank you.
Yeah, very cool.
It was amazing.
So obviously the last one I'm going to ask you about Eddie Van Halen, but I'm going to give you a little twist on this, and you answer any way you want. But you have heard Eddie play in a way that his fans, people like me who grew up listening to him, will never ever hear. I just pick up a guitar in the kitchen, in the living room, and wherever, and you kind of play her as Eddie Van Halen when he's not recording with Van Halen.
He's not really. It's only when we're in the studio.
Really?
Yeah. It would just be just kind of hanging out on the couch, or we go to a movie or something. But when it comes to playing, he was that same player. He was just amazing.
I always pictured him like the John 5, where you never see him without a guitar. Ever. Like your dad took you to a movie, but he still had a guitar with him.
I'm sure that's how it was growing up. For sure. I know there were many times where a high school girlfriend would be like, "It's me or the guitar," and he'd be like, "Okay, bye."
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Nita, tell me about Eddie Van Halen.
I don't know what I can say that Wolf would not have already said. All I really can say is I was at your last Van Halen show. I was up on the lawn at the last show at the Hollywood Bowl.
No idea.
And yes, we've shared tour managers, we've shared a lot of crew over the years, and just as a fan, I was always in awe of your dad's complete and utter joy in his guitar playing, and always wanted to emulate that myself.
All right, would you mind quickly an opinion of each other? You've seen Nita play, you've seen Wolf play.
I think it should be the other way around. You should be closing the show.
Oh my God!
Not even,
we would never want to go on after you guys.
No, it's not even a competition, man. I feel. Man, I'm just not even close to good enough.
I feel the same way, that it's not a competition. We're on the same team to play all the notes. We are just so honored to be here with you guys. We were such big fans coming in, and we were so excited to get a second opportunity to warm up the crowd for you guys, and we're just so thrilled and happy to be here.
It's such a pleasure. I'm just so happy you guys that we've been able to do this.
We do.
Thank you both for your time. Genuinely appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm sure every radio host in the world talks about your dad, but I'm old enough that I was one of those kids that had a crush on your mom.
I've met his mom. She is so beautiful. I'm surprised she's not here yet. She hasn't been out here on this tour yet.
I know. I think she's gonna.
No, she's not.
That was my uncle.
He has to say that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.